Hi everyone, it's Mrs. Spera and I'm here to show you how to create a resource list in Destiny. Destiny is the name of our Media Center catalog, and when you are in ClassLink, you will see this icon right here and it says Media Center Catalog, Destiny. This is the icon you need to click on in order to access our catalog. You can do this from home as long as you're logged into ClassLink. Once you click on the Media Center catalog, you are already logged into the Media Center catalog. In order to make a resource list, you have to be logged in, so I recommend logging into ClassLink and going into the catalog that way. Once you click on that icon, you will see Destiny Discover. This is a great way to peruse the catalog. However, in order to make a resource list, we need to change the screen. Over here, where you see the three little lines, if you click on it, we're going to change from Destiny Discover and we are going to change over to Destiny. Many of you recognize Destiny screen. This is what our computers usually look like when you come into the library, but you can toggle back and forth between these screens. So sometimes they look like it's logged in as Destiny Discoverer. Sometimes it's logged in this way. Either way, it takes you to the same information, but in order to make a resource list, you have to be on this screen. Right here on the left hand side, you will see resource lists. If you click on resource list, you will see my personal list, and everyone gets a my personal list. This should be your name. My name today is Fakey McFakerson, and we are going to make a separate list. You could use the my personal list, but I want to show you how to make another list. So I will click add list. I'm going to name this list Roar. I could give a description, but it is not necessary. I have never used this add a co-owner option before. It's possibly new. I think it's kind of neat. You and a friend could share a list, but for right now, we're just going to make a list for you. Once you have titled your list, hit save, and there now we have two resource lists for you to use. Alright, so now it's time to go start finding some books that you think sound interesting that you might want to read. So here we go to the catalog, and we will type in, I happen to like mysteries, so I'm going to type in mystery, and when I do that, we have 605 books that are considered mysteries, and even though we shouldn't judge a book by its cover, oftentimes we do. So I might scroll. I can write on this page, can only see the titles and whether the book is in the library or not, and so I see this one. This one looks kind of interesting, The Mystery of Biltmore House. The cover looks pretty interesting, but this doesn't tell me enough. I do know that it's a series, and this is number 1 in the series, which is good because when I find a book that I like, I always like if there's another one out there to keep reading. So let me see what this story is about. Alright, Stacy, Trent, Wendy, and Michael visit this famous Biltmore house in Asheville, North Carolina, where they encounter some creepy ghosts, a scary basement, and a missing antique chess set. Okay, that sounds interesting. So down here, I'm going to add to this list. And right here, it says Roar, so I know it's adding to the list I want it to add to. So when I click on that, it is now in my list. Some other things you might note on this page are that currently 1 of 1 is available. So if I want this book, it's in the library, I can just go get it. If it said 0 of 1 is available, and I really wanted this book right, as soon as possible, then I would click hold it. In the public library, they do a very nice service for their customers. If the books are in the library, I can tell them, look, I want this book, this book, this book, and someone at the library goes and gets those books off the shelf, and then they put it on their hold shelf with my name, and when they send me an email, I go pick up the books that I requested right there. I don't even have to walk anywhere in the library. They're on the hold shelf, and I go check them out, and I go home. We do not offer that service. We do not have enough people in the library to make that happen. So if it says that a book is available, then you should just go get it as soon as you can. If it says that there are 0 available, then you can hold it. But if a book is in the library, it shouldn't be put on hold. Alright, another thing I can learn from this page is that there are some descriptors, and these descriptors help describe what the book is about, and this or has things that this story, oh my god. All right, so with these descriptors, I could see that if I wanted to find other stories that also relate to the Biltmore estate, I could click here. This is also considered mystery and detective stories. These are other ways to search. I typed in mystery, but maybe I could have typed in mystery fiction, or I could have typed in mystery and detective stories, but I didn't. But if I wanted to, I could now click on these. So let's see. Let's see if there are any other books about Biltmore estate. Look at that. In addition to this book, that looked interesting. Seraphina, this looks like a series. Yes, this is the first one, this is the second one, this is the third one. It has something to do with the Biltmore estate too. So I can read, and it has something. 1899, a 12-year-old rat catcher in North Carolina's Biltmore estate teams up with the estate owner's young nephew to battle great evil, and in the process unlocks the puzzle of her past. All right, well, this isn't a mystery. It has to do with the Biltmore estate, and I wasn't looking for this, but you know what? It sounds kind of interesting, so I'm going to add that to my list as well. All right, so now I'm going to go back to my search results, and I'm going to continue looking for mysteries. Up South by Southwest, that looks interesting, a Diamond Brothers mystery. Click, I will read a little bit about this. I don't know if this is a series. It says a Diamond Brothers mystery, maybe it is, but I don't know which book it is. But anyway, it sounds interesting, so I'm going to add to this list. But since we can't read everything, can't be a mystery, I'm going to go back to the library search, and I'm going to pick magic. Let's see, I like magic. We'll read a story about magic or something. All right, so this list, again, 416 books that have something to do with magic, and this one looks a little bit different. This one is not a story, and I know this because its call number starts 793.8. It starts with a number instead of the 3 letters FIC, which stands for fiction. So this is going to be in our non-fiction section, and let's see what this is about. Okay, those starting out in magic today want something edgier, grittier, quick, visual, and maybe a little dangerous. Out of literally thousands of tricks, only those that have the greatest impact both visually and psychologically appear in this book. Cool, that sounds interesting. So I am going to add to this list, and if I wanted to find more books about magic tricks, I could click there. But I'm going to go back to my search results and stick back with magic. Maybe I would like a book that has to do, it's a story that has magic in there. So we'll do Hatching Magic, just randomly picking books. Let's pretend that sounds interesting to me. I'm going to add to this list. Okay, so I have several books in my list. Let's go look at the list now. Here's the resource list, and here's my roar, and I can hit view. All right, so I have 5 books in my resource list, and fortunately they're all in at the moment because it's summertime, and I can keep this list as for ideas. When it's time to get a new book, I can come to my list and see what I've picked and see if it's checked to see if it's in, and then I know where I'm going, where exactly I need to go to the library. So if I decide this is my next book, I will pick FIC HOR. I will go to the HOR section to find this book. But let's say I do that and I go get this book. Whoops, sorry about that. And I read it, or I start to read it, and I don't really like it. So I'm going to remove it from my list. All right, so now I have 4 books on my list. So just because you put it on your list doesn't mean you have to read it. It just means at one point you read the summary, it sounded interesting to you, but you're not going to like every book that you read. So if you don't read the book and you decide you don't want it, then just remove it from your list. But I recommend that you keep the books that you have read in a list. Don't delete them. If you read them and you liked them, just keep them. That way your teacher you can always print this out and say these are the books I read this year. Or if you have a friend who's like, I can't find anything I want to read, and you're like, oh, I read this book but I can't remember its name, well, you can check your resource list and you can say, oh, it was Seraphina and the Black Coat. That was really good. I think maybe you should read that. So just having a list of what you read has multiple uses and will come in very handy, and I hope that throughout your year during ROAR that you will continue to add books to this list and access this list on a regular basis and find some really great books to read. Thanks.